minute. Then you want to go to your black box program. This is your icon for your black box down here. You want to bring in your master meter. You want to set it up for pulse input. You want to do the same thing to your UUT. You want to put it in there for pulse input. Alright, and then you want to make sure that you bring in all your information from your transmitter by pushing this button right here. Once that's done, you want to make sure that your density here on your master meter and your density on your meter that you're calibrating are moving, and that shows that you have a live number. Alright, then you want to change this number here to 1000 and 60,000. You want to do that on the master meter, and then you want to do that on the UUT meter. Alright, once that's done, you can just hit enter and it'll lock it in. Alright, now you see your density still changing, so you actually do have this hooked up. Alright, you want to put your sample intervals in there, however many minutes you want it. You got to do it in seconds because that's the way it's set up. Okay, and then you want to come down here and set up what range you want to run it at. If you want to run 100 gallons per minute or 100 kilograms a minute, I'm sorry, then you put that in there, and your run number's automatically going to count up each time as you store it. Now, what you want to do is you want to go out and get your other meter. You want to come in and you want to put in your customer name.
You don't get on the other side. The light's bugging.
Okay, sorry.
Okay, much better. No, it's not you. It was this reflection.
But you want to put in whatever your customer's name is, and your transmitter serial number, model number, that kind of thing, and all that's, you know, your technician name, and but here's some numbers that are required. You've got to have your reference meter serial number.
With the asterisks.
That's correct, and you have that here. So that's your reference meter. So it's 3297961 on this particular one. And then you have to have your meter flow accuracy. To get your meter flow accuracy is depending on whatever your customer wants. So say 1% is what the customer wants. Alright, then you have to have your meter zero stability. So we have a chart here that says boulder only. And when we look at this chart and we go down to our meter, which is CMFS 150M, and we come over to our standard cal rate, kilograms a minute, it's going to be 364. So that's what our nominal, that's the nominal flow. The nominal flow is going to be 364. But that number can be found on this chart. This chart stays in the drawer all the time. It says at the top, boulder only calibration flow rate data. Alright, and once you got that number in there, you want to go up to your meter zero stability. Alright, same thing. You go to your chart here, you go up to your zero stability in kilograms a minute, you come down and you come over, and it's 0.025. Alright, once that's done, you're done on that end, you can hit enter.
Cool, you got rid of it.
Did it?
0.025, I think it's
0.025, alright.
Still got rid of it. Tab out.
Alright.
Now hit enter.
Alright, now it's enter. And now you want to bring in your meter over here. You want to bring in all your information from it.
Just click sample.
Yeah, this is actually the one you're calibrating. This is bringing your customers. It says special on there because this one is set up in special. But you can you can reference your flow cal number, your density cal number, your serial number, and all that, and it should come in from that sensor. That'll be the one you're testing. Once that's done, you can hit done. Right? And then you can begin your sample. Now we don't have any water flowing through there right now. Do you want to do that?
Yeah,
or?
Just start it and see what happens.
Alright, if you just start it, it'll start doing a 180-second interval. Once it gets through, then all you want to do to get it to come over to this line here it'll start out, each run will be run 1, run 2, run 3. Once that sample's through, you'll see it go through. It'll be done. Then you want to transfer that data. That data will transfer to that sheet.
So it's going to run 380 or how many?
180 seconds.
How long?
It's going to run one time for run 1.
Then it's going to go to run 2 and see. Or this is.
Then you can start it on run 2. And if run 2 something happens to it, you can abort it. Just let it go through, but just don't transfer the data, and they'll never put it up over here. So that way you can, if you have a problem.
So it'll tell you whether it passes right now before you transfer it?
No, it will not.
How do you know you had a problem?
How am I going to know it passes? Skittle?
Yep.
You could export it and get that information and to tell you whether it failed or passed, and then you choose not to save it or whatever. But each time it'll record all that information. And what I did is I did 3 pulls at, you know, whatever, 100 kilograms a minute or something, just, you know, to be doing it. And then I exported it and it showed that it passed. And I can show you that sheet too, so I saved it on this laptop.
So after one run, it stops, and you got to tell it to do it again.
Yeah, let's do it. Okay. Let's just do it for.
Well, it's. I just wanted to see it. Let it go finish one, and then just export it or transfer it out. So this here is going to turn dark as soon as it gets finished.
It'll allow you to be able to either do another sample or to transfer the data to this sheet. And once you transfer it to that sheet, you can go on and do a second sample and then do a third sample. And you have to tell it where you want the set point to be, what you're running it at. If you got it running at 100 kilograms a minute, and then later on you put it to 250 kilograms a minute, then you change it and you want to run it at 600 kilograms a minute, then you can do it. You can do 3 pulls for each one of them if that's the way you want to do it. Or you can do 1 pull for each one of them if that's the way you want to do it. Just depending on how you want to do it.
Let it run. So here's the setup. Here's the back of it. Where the connections to the meters made. One's here. This is another one. Pump is there. You can select which meter you want to go through here for different calibrations. Comes on around. This is a salesman's question and answer problem. Why isn't it hooked up? that was Ben's idea. Then it runs through here and it goes to the top of this tank. The input to the pump goes to the bottom, and the top of this actually feeds back to where you can reduce the amount of flow going to the instruments. Alright. So it's finished.
All right. Your sample is done, so you see now that it's not grayed out anymore. Yeah. You can actually go to it and begin another one if you wanted to.
Okay, hit transfer.
So what we're going to do is we're going to hit transfer data, and it populates this chart. All right. And then if we wanted to start another one, you know, we're going to change this to a lesser amount of time. We're going to change it to 20 seconds or whatever, and then we'll do another begin. But it'll actually start again.
But it didn't say anything about passing.
Not to my knowledge.
Mass differential. I wonder about that mass percent difference. That number is going to be really low, I would assume, if it's.
It will when you actually have flow on that.
You actually have flow.
Well, we have it set on that other page where it can be 1% off, and then we would do the same thing.
Okay.
We would transfer it.
Then how do you do it to? What's next?
Once that's done, you go in here to export the report.
Okay.
And you come and it pops up with this sheet.
Okay, so where would you see if it fails?
And behind. And here's where you would see that it failed, right here. Oh, yeah. It's located on that status right there.
Right. So it did fail because we're at 0. And
that's correct.
The 2 zeros are too far apart.
That's right. And it would have your meter total and everything here. instead of those number symbols if we had actually had flow on there. Well, we was just doing a sample, so it didn't. But it gives you all the information that you typed in previously for your transmitter and your reference meter and everything. And then what I do is I go in here and I go to print, and I do it in a PDF, and I actually do a print and save it into a PDF as a sample.
Okay. And what about that other thing that it opened? I saw an Excel sheet.
That Excel sheet, you can look here. This is giving you.
Right here.
Yeah. I know what you're talking about.
Yes.
That's just that's the one I did earlier. It just gives it to you in an Excel spreadsheet, which may be a little more, you know, informative to you because you do a lot of Excel stuff.
Yeah, maybe, but you don't want to give the customer that.
Right, right.
Because it can be manipulated. Excel can.
Yeah, I guess it could.
Yeah, so you don't want to give them that.
Yeah. But that's basically what it is, and that's the end of it. So